said the trucks. "We want a proper engine, not a red monster." James took no notice and started as soon as the guard was ready. Come along, he puffed.
Troublesome Trucks play an almost vital role in Thomas & Friends. They oftentimes serve as the show's main antagonists, and as characters are based around deviousness, constantly getting engines and themselves into trouble, and a lot of the time getting severely hurt. They f*** these guys up. And being so essential and vast in numbers, Troublesome Trucks are some of my favorite things to model. The show offers you so many different kinds and types to choose from, while also providing inspiration to do things, a little differently. No truck is the same in the show, so you can't really go wrong in making one of your own. It was this inspiration that led me to create my 3 most recent customs, being a green Bachmann Troublesome Saltwagon, a repainted cattle wagon, and a brownish red Troublesome van. And here's what I did to make these 3. Starting with the green Saltwagon, I originally wanted to paint this guy a light tan or almost white, much like the Saltwagons that are seen in the model series. However, I decided to go with an olive green in the final model, honestly just because I thought it would look good and I'd never seen a Saltwagon in that color. I would first spray the model with a dark gray primer, which is actually the same color as the roof of the model, and after masking the roof I would spray the model overall with this green. I would make sure to spray very lightly so I wouldn't mess up any of the truck's small details. The face I would add to this model would come from a Thomas Wooden Railway rickety model, and after gluing that on I would spray the model with some matte clear. The cattle van itself would be pretty easy to repaint. I would remove the body from the lower chassis, and much like the Saltwagon, would then spray the body with a light gray primer. Following this, I would paint the cattle wagon the same color that I painted the Saltwagon, but using the gray primer, I would hit the green in different spots, so it wouldn't produce this solid green color, but instead a faded and more textured look. I would paint the top rails gold, but they ended up being a little too bright, so I would end up repeating the process with the gray primer over those. Following this, I would paint the roof a darker gray and then hit the model with some matte clear. Eventually, I would like to place a face on this model, but for now, I'm calling it complete. Lastly is my brown Troublesome van. The face you see on this model is actually from the cattle wagon, but honestly overall I just felt as if it fit on this model better. The van started off as a GMR Airfix 12-ton vent van, and this time again chose to reference the model series but actually stick to it this time, which is what led me to choose this color. Just like the others, this model was first sprayed with gray primer, and once that dried I would tape off the roof and then spray the model with the brown paint. Just like how I did with the Saltwagon, I would end up using the light gray primer paint as the roof color. I would end up filing down the face by hand so it would fit flush on the front of the model, or at least as close as I could get it, and again, after a coat of matte clear, this model was completed. Though I'm finished for now, I'm contemplating going back and adding some small details or possible graffiti or weathering. Overall, I'm happy with how these 3 models would turn out. As I said before, Troublesome Trucks are some of my favorite things to model, and while there is more I could have done with these models and still may do, I'm still overall proud of their finished look and what I was able to achieve here. These 3 are my most recent Troublesome Truck models, and if you guys would like to see more, I've actually managed to accumulate and create a bunch of these guys throughout my time, so if you would like to see more, be sure to comment down below and let me know. I'll probably be revisiting these guys in the future and adding little things to them just as I go, so be sure to expect updates on these guys. For now though, hopefully you guys like taking a look at my custom HOOO Troublesome Trucks.